back to how life was. I came here almost 10, 12 years back, so I was just maybe a teenager, 18, 19 years old, with two suitcases. I love the introduction you gave me. Yeah, with just that. So, I just did not know how to navigate life. And there was this one guy who came to me who was like, Ashmi, you're such an introvert. Like, you should go out and talk to people. And I was like, that hit me. I was like, nobody in my life had ever said that I was in. I remember back when COVID was kind of crazy, when everybody was isolating. I was already alone. I was already navigating life, and then there was everything was like shut down. Yeah, and I was like, what do I do? Like, I need to figure out my college, my work, and everything, and there's nobody, no support, and I was also struggling mentally and emotionally, and there were so many things I had to take care of, financial and everything, right? And at the time, I was like, there is nothing I can do except for accepting. So when I go back to Nepal, my friends and my family are like, oh, you're an outsider because you've been in the United States for 12 years. And when I'm here, I was not raised and born in here, so I'm still always an outsider. So
Hi, Ashmi. Happy to see you.
How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm happy to have you here. Chance to introduce yourself, and we will dive right in.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's amazing what you do. You're not just creating space for your community, but also outside of your community. So thank you so much, and I'm super excited to be here. Just a little bit background on me. I am Asmi Pokharel. I am originally from Nepal, and now I've made Boston my home. Professionally, I work as a research scientist in one of the biotech company. I am also pursuing my graduate degree at Harvard ES. And passionately, I'm very, very deeply passionate about being involved in the community. So I do like to call myself a social activist, maybe. I'm involved in a lot of nonprofit communities here in Boston, especially Nepali communities. And apart from that, I'm also the founder of Ashmi and Mike, which is a platform I created mostly to leverage myself, where I MC a lot of events, moderate discussions like this. And my newest venture is I founded this company called The Node. So I'm founder of The Node as well. So yeah, here we are, and we're doing this today.
Yes, and there's definitely a lot to discuss today and a lot to talk about. But today I picked the theme from loneliness to community because I feel like you're an immigrant. You came here, you were not born in the States. I'm an immigrant. My community are immigrant people here a lot. And the topic of loneliness deeply resonates with me, with a lot of people who follow me, and I'm pretty sure same with your community.
Yeah.
So, and many people, they only show the successful part, like after they've made it.
Yes.
And it's not really as successful as they wanted to seem. A lot of people show up on social media, or if even they show up, they talk about the good stuff. Like, I'm in Harvard, I'm successful, I founded this, I have this many followers. And that's great. I love it. It's a motivation. I love it. I'm doing this also. I'm also sharing my wins, and it's important. I love it. But not many talk about the hard stuff.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, a lot of people think that it makes them weak. For me, I have different perspective. I believe that when you're open about your human side, that's the bravest thing that person can do. And when we were talking with you, you shared something about this deep feeling of loneliness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so can you just share the starter side, how you felt when you just immigrated, how it felt for you?
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you that, these days people just show like the best version of themselves and all of that, right? But then it comes with lot of challenges and a lot of like lonely nights and, a lot of doubts and everything, right? So definitely had those downfalls and everything in my life as well. But just tracing back to how life was, I came here almost 10, 12 years back. So I was just maybe a teenager, 18, 19 years old with two suitcases. I love the introduction you gave me. Yeah, with just that. So, I just did not know how to navigate life. It was not just changing a country, but it was like starting over again, everything, right? So it does come with lot of challenges. I had to learn how to cook, how to do laundry, how to do nitty gritty small stuffs, to how to find a job, how to do a school ruling and everything, right? So those were there. But apart from that, it was also a sense of belongingness, right? I was here, I had to adapt to complete new place, new culture, new background. I had to adopt a new friend group, new people. And I was questioning myself, where do I belong? Like, because this is not where I was born. This is not where I did not grew up here. So when looking for a sense of belongingness, it did came with a lot of lonely nights. It's like when I be in the room, I'm like, I'm scared of my accent, or scared of things I may have said, or some cultural conflicts that I may have, and that would automatically create me to take a space from people and just be by myself and just be in one little corner and not do anything, right? So that was how everything started in the beginning. There was no support system, but at the same time, I think I do take that as my resilience or my strength, because it's not easy to navigate life all by yourself in a new country. And then you just slowly learn to adapt. Your loneliness would become your purpose to not be lonely, or to create something out of it. And that's where the success journey starts, I think. That's how it started for me, I believe.
Yes, that's amazing. And it's so true. And if more people could just understand whatever they go through, if it
Yeah.
feels hard, if it feels bad, lonely, difficult at this moment, that's the journey to their purpose. And if people, they could just understand that life is not happening to them in this way, but happening for them, even this feeling of loneliness, it resulted in amazing community because you created something you didn't have. So
Yeah.
out of this problem and this pain, if you say something beautiful was born, but important that you actually did it, because many people, they get stuck. Okay, I'm lonely, I don't belong, everything is bad, and they
Yeah.
take it and that's normal. That's okay that a lot of people have this. I just want to show them that if something is hard right now, it's
Mhm.
other people are not lucky. Other people are not smarter. Other people are not better than them. They
Mhm.
just change the lenses. I wrote a song about the change your lenses. They change their like how they look at life, and they say, okay, I can do this, and they have the purpose. So how did you start
Yeah.
building your community?
I think that is very true in changing the lens of your life, right? Because when you are in certain dark phase of your life, you just feel like it's all happening to you. It's just you, like, why is this not working for me? Blah blah blah, all of that. But then when you start accepting all of that, that kind of changes everything. For me, I think I was in one of the time. I think I remember back when COVID was kind of crazy, when everybody was isolating. I was already alone. I was already navigating life, and then there was everything was like
Massive
shut
shift.
down. Yeah, and I was like, "What do I do? Like, I need to figure out my college, my work, and everything." And there's nobody, no support, and I was also struggling mentally and emotionally, and there were so many things I had to take care of, financial and everything, right? And at the time, I was like, "There is nothing I can do except for accepting it," right? So I think that was when I decided, I was like, okay, that's enough. Now I have to figure out my way out. I need to accept things and then go from here. That was one of the mentality I changed. My mindset. That was the first mindset I had, I believe. And right from there, I think building a community took me more of like, okay, let me be out there and explore. Because when I go to Nepal, every other person in the family is in the United States. And I was like, where are they? So if they're not in Nepal, where they should be somewhere in the community, right? So I started reaching out to people, and I to truly, truly believe in the power of being in the right room, having a right conversation, because it is so important. I do remember one of my friend's birthday. There was this one guy who I heard was involved in a community, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? I need to go talk to him. And I did talk to him, and he was like, there was this community, there still is. This is one of the community I'm today a board of director at. So this was then, and it's called Greater Boston Nepali Community, GBNC. I don't think I've talked about that community as much as I should have, because that is one of my stepping stone into building the whole community, right? So he was part of that community, and I went to him and I was like, you know what? I came here as an international student. I didn't had any organizations or any places like this where I could turn into and be like, hey, you are from my community and I need help. I need help navigating all of this. So if you exist, I need to know and I need to get involved in, because there are so many other people who are like me, who are stuck, who are alone, who cannot find places to go, who are just like, who may not be able to change their mindset of like going out there, right? Some people are even thinking about getting back home or like not doing things and giving up. So I was like, I need to get involved. That's where everything started. And he was like, we do need people like you, so just hop in, like start volunteering. So I started by reaching out to people. I started volunteering, and that's where I realized there are so many people who've been in the United States for 20, 30 years, who've been doing all these cultural events and all of that. And I was like, why did I not know about them? Right. So I started getting really active, and I started promoting more of our culture, bringing people together. I started reaching out to my friends and family and everyone. And I was like, hey, we have this event going on. We have, things like this. Let's come, let's meet, let's connect. And that's where I felt very belonged. Like, I felt a sense of belongingness. I felt like this is my people. I can, celebrate one of my festival with them. I can talk in my own language. I can just be like, hey, that's a Nepali thing, and just crack a joke about it. So it does feel different. And I think that's where everything started. I started building community, and people in Boston kind of started recognizing the thing, right? All these events and everything. It's not me creating it, but it's like the whole community coming together and creating the whole impact and whole event. So here we are now. We do a lot of events. Right from there, I started getting more and more other opportunities. I work in Nepali media channel, work more with Nepali people and non-Nepali people as well. I started doing the networking event, which one of the event that I met you at as well. So, all of these things, and now I'm creating my own space, the Node, where I want everybody to come together and connect and have that authentic relationship. So yeah.
That's so amazing. I was like, my mind was mapping a lot of stuff I want to comment. So I want to stay on three things that you said, which absolutely I think everybody should like really focus and listen very well to these three things. They're really important. The first thing that you said, you told me that you have accepted things.
Mhm.
And I know that for many people, that's a huge challenge and struggle. And I remember watching one speaker at the event. Unfortunately, don't remember her name, but she was talking about the key to happiness, like absolute happiness is zero resistance. So it's not the situation that happens, right? The problem, because most of the time it's working out in some way. Always, like in some shape or form, the way is found. But what we think about it. So you said the moment you stopped resisting the situation, which is actually a very human way, because our nervous system does not feel safe when it's unknown. When we don't know what happens the next hours, the next second, the next moment, it puts us in a survival mode. Our amygdala, part of the brain that's responsible for survival, starts to be active and just tries to catch something, like to have something to hold on to. And control and resistance is a way of control.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of energy, a lot of energy. So no solution can be found in this state. So our prefrontal cortex just switch off. We don't see any creative ideas, nothing. So I just want to say to people, like, you have an example here. The person stopped resisting, and you're not the only one who shared that. Stop resisting, and then suddenly things started moving for you. And the second thing you said, I loved it, because it's also, especially for my community, Ukrainian community, I don't know about Nepali, but asking for help.
Mhm.
This is huge. I think it's actually a universal theme.
It
Because
is. It is.
right? I don't think it's
Yeah.
Ukrainian or Nepali or it's universal.
Yeah.
Asking for help. If I'm asking for help, I am weak. If I'm weak, I will not survive. This is all survival mode. These are all the patterns of survival, which were necessary like 3,000 years ago, maybe, I would say, but
That's
not
right.
anymore, not right now. So you did ask and you say, hey, I need help. Like, help me out. And it is not shameful and it's absolutely okay. And look how it changed. And the third thing you might not even realize about yourself.
Yeah.
The third thing that I loved is taking on a role of a leader in a good, not a leader who is like above, but
Mhm.
if space doesn't exist and all these people, they're on their own, right? And there's people, a lot of people, they feel inside, I have an idea, I would do this, I would do that, like I could do it. And they're just waiting for somebody else to do it.
Mhm.
Not because they cannot, but they don't believe they have the permission to. They don't believe they have the permission to be in the center in certain way.
True.
And usually the people who have to be, they are born to be in the center, like you, they were meant to do it. They will be the ones questioning themselves the most. Am I allowed? Am I good enough to have this community? Who am I to collect people? There are so many more talented. Why they don't do it? Like you wait, you wait, you wait. As you said, nothing happens. So and then the mindset shift. Well,
Yeah.
wow,
Wow.
do it.
I love
I
how
think
you pick the points. I didn't even realize it, but you're really right on this, Ray. Sometimes you just like you do question yourself. You're like, is it me? Should I be doing this or not? And all of that. But then one thing that also changed in me was like the perspectives. I'm like, I'm not in this room by accident. I worked hard, and even if I don't belong there, I am there. That means I do have something to offer in that room, right? So I think that kind of changed how I navigated my insecurities being in the new world, because I was always fearful of like being in the room and being the dumbest. But I read somewhere that being in the room as the dumbest and youngest is where you grow, and I think that's where everybody grows, right? So yeah, I love how you picked the point, and I really like that. Yeah.
yes, I love this what you said, that that's how you grow. And these insecurities, like I want to point them out because it's part, like every person I believe needs something bigger than themselves.
Mhm.
So we are born, to talk. Look at our society. The things we talk about usually it's like career, how much money you make, what house you live in, how good you look, and and all these things and show off. But less conversation are held about like what's your purpose, why you were born, and everything in this universe. There is every single part of the universe has a sense. So it wouldn't make sense ever to me that humans, such a beautiful creation, such a complicated neurological being, like so many processes in our body, and we were just random.
Yeah.
I will never believe that. Like nothing will make me believe that. No
Yeah.
way.
No.
And if I'm not random and you are not random, and you have certain rooms, as you said, if I'm in this room, there is something higher, bigger than me, put me in this room, gave me this idea.
Mhm.
So it's not mine. It's not my ego to say, well, who am I? I was kind of, not chosen in this fancy way. Like I was given this idea, why it came to me,
Yeah.
not to somebody else. If it came to me, it means I have the resources, capability, same as you.
Yeah.
So you stop questioning yourself and it really helps to move the needle, right? So
True.
can you say this about yourself, that you truly like found your purpose and it's driving you more than your insecurities? We all have insecurities.
Yeah, I think so. You know what? When you said these things, I was just reading one of the book called Limitless, and it talks about how your brain works, and I was just reading it like this afternoon, and there was something that you said exactly. It says like the brain is the new technology that the old technology that you already have in your body, and it just you think like 70,000 thoughts in a day, and you process it and all of that, and you get the idea, and it's you or somebody else placing it, and it cannot just be random because you only have your own brain, and there's there's no other brain like yours. That's what the whole book was about, right? So definitely it's like you cannot be random. It cannot be random, as you said. But questioning answering your question about uh, how did what was the question again? How did the
Can you say that you found your purpose
yeah
in some
purpose?
shape or form? Yes, and how it's helping you with this in thoughts and insecurities? Like how
Yeah.
do you reframe your thoughts to move forward?
Yeah, about my purpose, I think when I was navigating it myself and when I couldn't find my community in the beginning, when I was feeling all of this, lonely and like maybe I don't belong here and all of that, I think the first time when I did the event and when I saw everybody coming together and sharing that experiences together, connecting, making, a genuine relationship with one another, I think that gave my heart such a nice feeling. I think that's when I realized I was like, I am meant to connect people. That's where I was like, okay, this is something I can do. I know I can talk because I am a yapper. I love talking. I love meeting new people. I love learning about their life. And I know I can connect one person to another. And I know I can like just do those things. So why not create a space where we can all come together, where I genuinely believe like if you are genuine and ambitious, a incredible thing happens in life, right? So, like how I met you, we had the conversation, and here we are doing the podcast. So, that kind of gave me a purpose in life of being the person, a connector, I would say, and that is where I founded the Node. So, NOD Node, which stands for Nexus of Opportunities, Dreams, and Exchange. So as the name says, it is a nexus where, the opportunities comes in the room where your dreams and you exchange your relationship and everything, right? So I think I found my purpose of being that builder of a community, a connector where we're there for one another. Whether that's in terms of career or in terms of being just there for one another or just like making friends or growing or, healing one another, right? So maybe, not just maybe. Yes, I believe that's my purpose in life.
And that's amazing. And what you said, right? You said, I felt like so nice. I had such a nice feeling. And I want to highlight this to people who will listen to this. That's the navigation, that our emotions are the best navigator. And it's actually our body, our emotions telling us exactly where we're going, what we should be or shouldn't be doing. But we are so disconnected from emotions in many times. We're just in our head. So when the heart feels this feeling, I would say feeling of joy, and it's so amazing how like what brings you joy maybe not the same thing that brings me joy, right? And
Yeah.
another person. And we are so alike in terms of brain, neurosystem, neuroscience, like our nervous system. This is we're all same here as humans, but we're all unique in terms of what brings exactly joy to us. And that's the fastest way to find purpose. And if it's navigating your life, right, it's giving you so much synergy. And what I noticed, you said that I stepped out, like it was lonely. I was alone. I put myself in the corner. I was questioning myself if I belong. And then you said something that, like, really, I have to highlight that. You said, you know what? I stepped out and I said, I will find these people. There should be somewhere out there. So you stopped, kind of waiting for somebody to come and save you. Here's the community, we will come to you. You stepped out. You said, okay, I will go save myself. I will find it. And you gave yourself permission to belong and you created the space. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like what pushed you? What was this point where you no longer stopped feeling sorry or lonely and you said, no more? Like what was something pushing you to this? Or it was kind of naturally?
I think there would always be something, not just something. I would say it's like series of different events, right? One after another. You have like different downfall, and then there is this mindset shift, and then you do the acceptance, and then it's always like not just one thing. It's just always a series where you just get there. And for me, I think. Where there was this point where I was so low, I'm always an extrovert. I talk, but then there was this one guy who came to me who was like, Ashmi, you're such an introvert. Like you should go out and talk to people. And I was like, that hit me. I was like, nobody in my life had ever said that I was introvert. I'm a yapper. I always got it. And that's when I realized, I was like, okay, I feel like maybe I'm isolating way too much than I should. Maybe I'm just like not giving myself that permission to be out and about and meet people and do all of that thing. And that kind of gave me another idea of, okay, I have to accept all of this, whatever is happening, and I have to be out because this is not me. The person that the guy was saying was not me, because I know through my bones that I'm a yapper. I do talk, and nobody in my life have ever called me an introvert. So I think that was one of the push I would always remember. But other than that, it's always a series. And then one thing I also always go by is when you get too comfortable in your place, you just don't grow, right? So you have to be uncomfortable by being out there, putting yourself out there, talking to people, doing things that matters, rather than thinking, what is this person's gonna talk about, or judging me, or blah blah blah, all of those stuff. So I also always believe in like not being comfortable in one thing and just pushing myself through. And I think that helped me like navigate. That helped me go find people, connect with different people, even though it was hard. And it might sound very silly, just approaching to someone and be like, hey, I need more space to talk, right? So I just did what I needed to do, and that mattered. So I didn't think of who's gonna judge me or not. I just did it.
And that's amazing when we stop thinking who will judge, who will say what. And that's actually a very natural thing that happened, because when you came to a new country, we people don't know about. They should like give it to you at the airport when you immigrate. They should like give you. You're gonna lose your identity. You will be in identity crisis, and people don't understand how nervous system works. So you were somebody in your own country, like it was familiar, everything was familiar. You come to a new country, nervous system doesn't know what it's like here. There is no information. Automatically, it's dangerous. Even the fact that you don't know, it's automatically dangerous, automatically putting you on high alert. So you are not as much relaxed. Plus, the biological need of us to fit in. This is inside of our DNA. This is evolution and survival patterns that we have. So your brain will constantly scan everything. Do I fit in? Who do I need to become to fit in? And you lose yourself because you're afraid to be yourself. What if myself, I don't fit in? And the being immigrant doesn't help. So all of this comes together, and a lot of people get stuck in it, as you said, like they don't have. So community helps, because community, I say community people are mirror. They can show you your who you can be, people who inspire you. They can show you parts of you that you have to accept and heal, those people who will trigger you. But without this mirror, you will not know who you are. And you went out there and you got it. And that's amazing. And is your family in Nepal or here?
Yeah, they're back in Nepal, and now I have more of my own family that I created. So my own friends and all of that. But my parents are back in Nepal, and most of my immediate family are still back in Nepal. But again, I wanted to touch on what you said as well. It is important about the identity crisis as well. I think so. Now I've been in the United States for almost 12 years. So when I go back to Nepal, my friends and my family are like, "Oh, you're an outsider because you've been in the United States for 12 years." And when I'm here, I was not raised and born in here, so I'm still always an outsider. So there's always a class of identity crisis. Like, where do I belong? I did feel that as well, but then I think I also accepted that there will always be this some sort of like losing your identity because you're navigating in between two worlds. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that you have to choose one world or the other, right? You can always integrate both of these worlds and be like, hey, I'm creating my new identity. I'm new person here. I did not know that I could speak in the mass of like 10,000 people, which I do now. I did not know I could go to Harvard, which I do now. I never in my life thought I would be a scientist, which I do. So it's also creating your own identity, I believe, right? So, which I think I learned because I am an immigrant, because you are always in the survival mode of like pushing yourself, doing things. You cannot be like, not doing things, right? Here, as an immigrant, you have to be able to stand for yourself because there's no other support system for you. So, with that comes the resilience, the power, to the motivations to do things and be somewhere in life. And I do appreciate that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there is always the good and blessing in everything that happens. It just shows you who you are, who you truly, what you're capable of. And it's so important. And as you said, like I am a new person, I am me, and where do I belong? It resonates with me so much because I got married at 23 and I moved to Lebanon from my country. I was very young. Also, you were 18, I was 23. So I
Yes.
moved to a completely new culture, completely new life, and I had to adapt there. And then after 6 years, I got back to Ukraine. It seems to be it's my own country, right? It has to be easy. No, it was complete crisis again, although I was coming to my home country because I have changed, things have changed, and
Yeah.
I just didn't belong anywhere. And then we came to the United States. It was my third immigration, and I didn't. So I was like, who am I? We speak Arabic, Lebanese Arabic, English, Russian, Ukrainian in my household. We mix the words. So I'm like, who am I? I was always trying to identify. Okay, who am I? Where is my home? I don't feel home anywhere. But then what you said, where do I belong? And it's just my philosophy that I'm creating. You belong here, like here.
Yeah.
You
Yeah. You're just yourself. Yeah. As
Very
long as
well.
you're happy and as long as you feel yourself, that's where you belong, right? That's what I believe. So it's always a challenge to start over your life again in a new spot. Even if I moved to a different state now, that would be make me feel like I'm starting over because now I already have something in Mass in Boston, but I do not want to move to Texas and create things again, right? So it's always a challenge, but at the end it's still me. So even if I go to Texas or Boston, I will try to find my community and I will try to, bring everybody together and grow from there. So I think it's just where we are, where we belong.
Yes, it's so important to just find the way home to yourself and don't identify yourself. Yes, these are all parts of you are Nepali, you are now in America, like you live in America. I'm Ukrainian, how Lebanese culture. So yeah, all of these are parts, but they make us all in something we are, and you cannot like label it with something else. And that's okay because I feel society still gets stuck on this belonging. Which political party, which city, which team, which sports team, which country have this conversation. I watch a lot of podcasts. As you said, you created something that you didn't have, right? So
Yeah.
you created the community. So I'm watching a lot of amazing, that's super nice podcasts, but I'm seeing all those stories of people who are super successful, already super established, and they focus only on the success part. But I want to see the story of the person in making, who is in the progress, who believes in their dreams, who found the purpose, but they're not yet on top of the world because it's a journey. And they actually really share what it really looks like you there is you created this node, right? The community, the platform. So when you were creating it, can you like how this idea came to you? What were your challenges? What was your inner dialogue, the doubt? Because for sure there was, you know.
Yeah, as I mentioned, right, I knew what I had in me to offer, which is more of a connecting people, where I can talk to people. I love talking and all of that. So I always wanted to do something out of it. Like if I have a skill or if I have something God gifted, I need to like leverage that and build something out of it, right? So, but I just did not know what was the point. Like I just couldn't pin it at the beginning, but as I was doing a lot of events here in Boston, what I realized was there were incredible people all over doing amazing job, but they were operating very solos. Like they didn't really had a lot of space to come out and talk about what they do, and I did see that as a gap. And that is where I created the node. I wanted to create this as a space where all the ambitious professionals come in, all the founders, the leaders, everybody who comes in this room who have already built something or are building something, and these people do get connected with people who are willing to build something, or who are ambitious, who are dreaming about building things, right? So this is where the whole idea came from. Back before that, I also thought a lot about woman representations in the, especially coming from Nepali culture. There were not as much of representation as needed because I I also just had did the discourse, which is Nepali discourse at Harvard and MIT. And when I was navigating through that conference, I did find very less representations as an audience or like as a VIP for my discourse. And I was like, hey, why don't we build a space where all of these people are come together, because I know they are out there. I have talked to them. They just don't have the opportunity to be in the same space, to be in the same room. And all this inner dialogue just came up to me. I had 5,000 names thought about it. And apart from that, I also thought of having my Nepali community get involved into a non-Nepali integrations. Like, why don't I be more inclusive, not just women, but also men, because we do need men in the room to uplift the women. And again, not just Nepali people, but also outsiders, like non Nepali people, just be in the same room where we can exchange ideas, where we can exchange cultures, and everybody is doing something in life. Why don't we learn from one another, right? So that is where the broader picture came into my mind, and that is where the node was created. And I'm super excited. We will be hosting our very first event soon, maybe in August. It's still tentatively deciding. We'll have amazing speakers. I'm just super excited, and I'm actually enjoying the journey of the work that's being put into the building and everything. And it just feels like pieces by pieces is just coming together in one platform. So I cannot wait for our first event and have everybody in the room. And I think I'll again feel the joy in my heart.
Of course you will. Even the thought of it already fills your heart with joy. And you see how different it is versus doing something that you have to, like you should, and pushing yourself to do something. You will have little energy, you will need a lot of willpower, you will procrastinate. But when you really give yourself permission to follow your heart, to follow your joy, to do something that is meaningful, the energy is not a question anymore because you are just so full of your unstoppable.
That is so true. You know what? I get asked a lot. I was like, most of my friends and everybody is like, how do you have time and energy to do all these things? Because I do create content, I do work full time as a scientist, I go to school, I do create content, and now this new venture of the node, which I'm trying to create events and host different kind of events, right? But then when you're really passionate about something, you do not want to stop. That's what I figured for myself. I'm like, I don't know how do I do it. I don't know how do I get the energy, but I do. I get really very excited to work on these things. I'm multitasking most of the time. I'm maybe writing a paper, reading a book, or again listening to the podcast or doing things. But when you're actually passionate and when you believe in your dreams, there is no way you're not going to work on it. Like, you have to push yourself, you have to hustle, and you have to be on that level, on that energy to make the dream come true. So, yeah, it just fills me with so much of love and passion, and I want to do it. I feel like.
The word hustle is has a lot of, it can have both negative and positive meaning. That funny that you mentioned it, because I was just going to comment that this type of energy, I don't believe that it's actually really a hustle, because it doesn't come from the position of lack. It's like, if I don't do it, I'm gonna like my life will suck, and
Yeah,
you're doing it because you cannot not do it.
that's
It's like, it's impossible not to do it. So the wave of energy is just riding you with it. So that's why you have unlimited energy. That's why you will, yes, physical body, of course, it will rest and stuff, but unlimited amount of energy is given when you do something that brings you joy, versus when you chase the fake goals. A lot of people, they think that they want this, okay, I need this career and I need to push myself, go to all networking events and bring clients, but that's not what they really want. So they feel tired, they feel exhausted, they feel they hustle, they feel burnt out, because that's not what they really want. So the burnt out and hustle comes not really from amount of work you do.
yeah.
It's from the state and the energies that you do it from. And I'm a true believer. I'm against hustle in this negative Meaning when you say, okay, like I will hustle. No, I don't believe in that. But I do believe that the wave can ride, like you ride the wave. Like I feel you are riding the wave right now. Like it's, you are on top of it and it's just unstoppable wave. And it's amazing. It's
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is so true. And also, when you're building something like this, as you said, I really resonate with what you said. You said like you didn't do it because you had to do it. You just, I mean, you didn't do it because you're lacking something or like your world is gonna shatter because, well, I'm creating a space for everybody to come together. If I don't create that, is it gonna shatter my life? No. Is it gonna, take me to the deathbed? No. But I'm doing it because my heart says so. Like, I do want to do it because I do want to see everybody connecting and just, creating something beautiful out of it. And I just vision the day when that happens. And that just keeps me so motivated. And I'm like, well, I'm doing it. I don't know why, but I'm doing it because I have to do it. This is a calling. So, I think I totally resonate with what you said. That's so beautiful.
Yes, I love it how you said this is a calling because I believe that a lot of successful companies and successful ventures, companies, businesses, communities, most of them, those that last and have big impact on societies, they were done from calling. When founders were not thinking about like what they're gonna get from it, they were just like they couldn't not to do. They saw the better world. Like you see the world where there is connection. I loved what you said about mixing cultures and not being only excluding only Nepali or only this. That's actually, I love it. And that's one of the reasons I switched my page to English. I do content now for everybody and I invite guests from different backgrounds and different cultures because in United States specifically, I see a lot of people as you like, they stay within their communities. So Ukrainians mingle with Ukrainians, Nepali mingle with Nepali, Italians with Italians, Spanish with Spanish.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because people feel they belong and that's okay. But how many opportunities are missed? Honestly, like, I'm so happy that I met you, for example, right?
Yeah.
And we met at the event, which was mixed. It was not purely for my or for your community.
Yeah.
So I love how you are like opening up for your community these opportunities to mix. Same what I'm doing here. Like we're
Yeah, I think that is so true because that was my exact thought. I was like, it's amazing to have that belongingness and that safe net, like safe space where you can just be yourself. But again, we are in the land of opportunities. Like we are in America, and we need one another. It's not just one Nepali people, but also like some other culture, other people, Ukrainians, for example, or some other communities, right? So because they will give an opportunity in a bigger vision, and that's exactly my thought. And I was like, if I don't bring and make it more inclusive to everybody, that's not going to happen because this is, if I just limit it to Nepali community, we might do one event and the next event it's going to be the same person. So we're just gonna come and talk and eat and have fun and leave. But then where is the impact for like bigger purpose in life, right? So I felt like if I open up to everybody, if we have like mingles of different cultures, different background, and everybody, you get to learn from them. You may meet their friends, and all of that. And that's exactly what happened here as well. Like I went to that event, you were there, we just met and we connected so well, being in the room and with the right person, right conversations, and here we are. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna do more of the collaborations, more of the things, right? So, just super excited, and I think that was one of the concepts why I chose to go broader and more inclusive with the node as well.
Yes, I love it. I believe like soul has no culture and no cultural background, and no nationality and nothing. Our identities do have like our identities, but soul as a pure something behind it, it doesn't have any, you know,
Yeah, I
uh,
love that. I
no,
love how you said that. Yes.
no separation. And I want to ask you something. A lot of immigrants, when they come, especially you're not here, I still consider 12 years, it's pretty young, it's still young,
Yeah.
not like 50, 45 years, they already assimilated. But when you started growing, all right, and you started changing and you started like changing your mindset, expanding because you go to a country with so much more opportunities and your mind expand. Have you noticed anything from back home when you felt a bit guilty, a bit like pulled back? Well, you see the difference in mentality, for example, they think smaller. You love them and they're okay, nobody's judging any, but there is this gap. And a lot of immigrants who grow, they feel it a little bit of guilt on a tiny bit. Like I'm thinking I'm growing, I'm having all these opportunities, and there are my old friends and they're still staying small and I cannot do anything about it. How did you have it?
Yeah, I think I definitely have that because, when, especially Nepal is a very developing country, it's a small country. It's not a country with a lot of opportunities. My friends back there who are doctors and they're still looking for job and who may not get as paid as we do get here, all of that. And while I was growing or doing all these things and all of that, it does, there's always tiny bit of guiltiness or like, why couldn't I do that in my own country? Maybe I should, at least help them in some ways or the other. Or even not in that sense, if I don't think in that sense, there's also a lot of like unlearning that needs to be happened because the culture or some sort of conservative thinking are still there. It still prevailed, right? But as we are growing and as we are meeting new people and new opportunity, we see a different side of the world. And my friends back there or my family back there, they're still there. They're not seeing this different side of the world. So they do still think the same way about different superstitious things, I would say. So that did struck me, that still do struck me many times. And I think, let's say if we're talking about mental health, they're still not as open to about talking about mental health and all of that stuff. It's June right now, it's Pride Month. There might be some communities that are not as open to talk about Pride Month and everything back in Nepal or my cultural people, right? So those kind of little things or those kind of cultural things do play a big role. And from my end, what I could do to help is talk more about it, do more advocate. I do advocate for mental health a lot. I do host a lot of mental health events. And if I meet a friend who have those mentality, I straight up talk about it. And I think my way of giving back is organizing this kind of events here. And as I was mentioning, the event I did at Harvard and MIT, the Nepal Discourse, where we brought about 40 speakers. 20 of them were from Nepal. They flew from Nepal. And we had like 400 attendees in the room who were there from different states, different countries, but all Nepali. And they were there in the same room. We brought the whole ecosystem together and we had the dialogues, we had the convening. So that is something I could offer from being in a place where I have more opportunities because I was at Harvard community, so I could do that, right? So I think it's more about giving back what you have when you can, rather than feeling more and more guilty about it because there's not so much we can do to change.
Yes, and it's so important that we talk about it and that you opened up also about it. It's so important. I want people to really hear this perspective because a lot of people have this guilt which they don't realize they have, but it shows up in life when they are not growing, when they keep themselves small and they think it's just them. They're not capable or it's discipline. But in fact, subconsciously, they're trying to stay on the same level as people back in their country, not to grow that much because of this. And we have a lot of this in Ukrainian community, as you might have heard about the war. I came here when the war started. So a lot of people, when they have good life here, they feel this, it's called survivor guilt. It's like back then there is war, but this is a frame that I want to people that you reframe that you can do more when you have something to give. So that's so important. I loved you're giving back to community. You're hosting all this mental health event, and it wouldn't be possible if you stayed small, if you shrinked, because if you stay small, you cannot lift anyone up with you. So that's so important. It's a part of giving back, not by staying the same as as your peers or your people from your country, but by growing and showing them what's possible. And yes, communities, they might have friction. People might even judge. I don't know if you met that. Maybe not all comments are super positive on social media. Sometimes your own people from your own community, they will be the most harsh on you.
Yes.
So, I noticed that. I don't know if it happened to you, but it happened to me.
Yeah.
But I honestly just moved on with a lot of love and understanding where it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's never about you or me. It's always about the person. So by going up, I love it how you just say, well, I'm giving back. Yes, I feel this guilt. I acknowledge it, but I know that I can do more if I just keep growing. And
Yeah.
I love it. And I love it. What would you say, like, the most important shift you see in yourself when you got the community, and then people, what people share with you? So when the community created, when you created this space, what were the shifts that are like so important that made it all worth it?
I think you know what when the reason why I do what I do is when I hear all these comments or like messages I get from people. I think that just keeps me so humble and so motivated to keep doing what I do. I have got messages where they're like, "You've inspired me in ways that never thought I could," you know? And I'm like, I just didn't do anything. I just become myself. Like that's what I did. And then there are people who get help. Like as I said, like when I was new in this country, I needed help. I needed somebody to help me navigate whether to open the bank account or to even use the laundromat or stuff like that, right? So I become that help to somebody else now because now I'm in the position where I can offer help. And when I can help like one person and I see their life changing, that just motivates me, you know, and that is like, okay, maybe I can do something. Even if I help one person, that's enough. And, uh, and then all these things, all these messages I get, all these incredible people I meet, and they're always like, you're doing this, you're doing amazing, and we need this because we need space like this. You know, we want to do this because I see you doing it, and all of these. I don't know the compliments or all the feedbacks I get. I think it just makes me want to do even more. I think I crave for those feedbacks all the time, and every time like they reach out to me and they're like, "Hey, I love what you do," and all of that. I'm like, okay, I will keep doing it. Like, so I think it's the people who make you do all those things that you want to do. Yeah, I
That's
think they believe in me, and that makes a difference.
it's nice to see. This is, as I say, the world is the mirror. The world just showing you up. Hey, you look at yourself. And this is a phrase you said. I want to also stop there because you said when person say, "Hey, that's amazing," and you inspired me, and you say, "Well, what did I do? I was just being me. Like it was a natural thing for me." And I want to pause right there because for people who are meant to bring communities, to be leaders, to create something impactful, meaningful, often what they do is huge, but they will never understand that it's huge because it's a natural state for them. So
Hmm.
it's like, and it's actually in every single person. There is something, whoever is listening to us, there is something that you do as a natural state. Like that's who you are. You don't need any effort for it. Like you can bring people together effortlessly, right? You can inspire, uplift, that's just who you are. And it will be weird to say this, but for others, this is not effortless and this is not easy, and they cannot do what you can do. And it's so important to stop and acknowledge, yes, I see this a gift, and it's not ego, it's not being selfish. It's a gift that was given to me so I can, protect it, grow it, and use it wisely where it's needed. So when you look at it this way, you can no longer say that, it's just nothing. No, it's not nothing. It's so important to understand that I'm talking to really somebody will watch us, and I know this will resonate with somebody. There is somebody watching us. Whatever you do, you feel like it's not really important, not really worth it because it comes so easy. And you know what happens? When people get things easy, like you, naturally uplifting, what they do, because it comes easy to them, they cannot charge money for it, or they cannot like make money. Well, it comes so easy. How am I gonna charge for it money? So please, Chuck, whoever is, I don't know who needs to hear this right now.
I love that. Yeah, I think I really appreciate you saying that as well. And what I believe is when you love yourself, every opportunities are attracted to you. All the good people, you just like I think that's what happened with me too, because I was for so long time I was going through this whole depression and everything, and I was like, not so confident. I was so isolating myself. But then when everything, my mind changed, my perspectives on life changed. And when I loved myself, I was like, hey, I'm worth of something. I love myself. And that's when I cut off all the toxic people in my life. I had amazing friends, amazing community with me, and all the opportunity came to me. So I really believe in power of loving yourself and then giving the love back, because you cannot love other by hating yourself. So you have to always love yourself. And with that, also, you should always learn how to leverage what you have as well, because you need to feed your children and your life and everything. So that, I think, it's a way to build bigger purpose and giving more job and opportunities and creating more of this space to other what you have. And if that comes easy to you, that's great, I think.
Absolutely. Being humble is a good thing when it's not going into this mode when you're humble in a way that hurts yourself. Like
Mhm.
you cannot charge money or you don't accept any recognition for what you do. Yes, it's important. I feel the world is changing. There is new type of leadership emerging right now. Completely new type of leadership where a leader is not above, it's not authoritarian, where a leader is kind of like being the heart of the community of like-minded people. And I feel what's happening, you see it, there's so many communities emerging, just people that are so alike, and they build a community. It can be tiny, it can be bigger, doesn't matter. And the leader there is just showing like what's possible, connects people, but never like up or and never down. And that's
Mhm.
also important. Like you're like really equal and you just uplift people next to you. So this is so important. I love this podcast so much. I feel we've touched on so much more than just immigration and just like mindfulness and loneliness and community. I loved your story. I loved your openness, how you shared stuff. And I'm so excited. For sure, we'll do collaborations more. We'll do more stuff together. And thank you so much, Ashmi, for coming here.
Thank you so much for having me. I totally enjoy all the conversation we had. And, we just like unfolded all the stories of immigrations and building community while also, praising one another and uplifting one another.